You can't project when your mind is still. This is the state of being happy. You turn into the blank screen of your mind. We are constantly being hit with thoughts and ideas about other people and ourselves. We are told to gather more things, move up the success ladder, and stand out as unique individuals. A lot of us spend our whole lives trying to figure out what we're here to do, who we are, and how we can make the world a better place. The ego is where we make up our personality or image and tell the world about it. When we are empty, we let go of all the ideas and opinions we have about other people and ourselves. Do you remember a time when you felt like you had nothing left inside you? Some people might think this feeling is bad at first, but it can lead to deep change. The world we live in is full of social standards and never-ending goals. As we try to figure out our meaning and effect, we build our egos and identities. In all of this chaos, though, we often lose sight of what's important. Emptiness isn't a state of not existing or a blank. It's a view that goes beyond what we can see. The fact that it shows how everything is linked makes it clear that nothing exists on its own. Emptiness frees us from the ideas and beliefs that hold us back, so we can be fully present in the present time without any plans. We can access our real power and presence when we are in this state, not limited by society or our minds. In the infinite now, emptiness opens up a world of endless options. When we clear our minds on purpose, we feel lighter and more at peace as we link with our true selves. We don't consciously reach this state of silence. It's just how we are. Our identity fades, our thoughts slow down, and our memories fade away. We feel a lot more confident in our hearts and realize that we don't need plans or tactics. We don't have to try to plan or control everything. Instead, we can trust the knowledge inside us to lead our actions. We free the energy that was spent on following the mind's illusions when we give in to nothingness. An important thing about nothingness is that it can hold flaws and discord, turning them into parts of the bigger beauty. The ego, which wants to feel safe and in charge, can be challenged by the process of becoming empty. The ego will fight back by bringing up memories, thoughts, and fears that keep us stuck in old habits. Remember that the ego is not who we really are. It's just something we make up in our minds. Take a moment to just be. Do not pay attention to anything that comes up in your thoughts. If you don't pay attention to anything, you are empty. Attention is one of the things that makes you strong. It's so strong inside you that you call whatever you focus on your experience. Someone who can seize both attention and lack of attention is bigger than attention itself. Don't stress out. You shouldn't pay attention to anything right now. Give up everything for a short time, as if a place had opened up and everything was now outside of it. Keep in mind that you can let go of any feelings about the past or the future, even the ones that are the most important to you. Allow yourself to let go of everything. When we're by ourselves, we sometimes feel very empty inside. All of our other drives come from this feeling of nothingness. We think and act without question because we want to fill this hole and satisfy this desire. Fear of not being good enough drives us to run away. We're trying to fill it with different things or projects. We quickly become unhappy with each temporary answer and move on to the next, putting up with failure after failure, pain after pain, and conflict after conflict. This is what happens to the normal person, to those who gladly accept this loop because they think it's just how people are. Every wish comes from the same place, to be at peace and go home. There is never a time in life when the things we do to compensate, getting more money, learning new things, and collecting things, leave us deeply uninterested. This can make us want to find our true selves beyond what we see. Watch how your mind and body work, and you'll start to understand who you are. In terms of understanding, there is no difference between this and understanding the whole world. Your vision is completely opened up to the fullness of truth. You are the first mind, Life is just the first awareness. Because we connect with our body, our feelings, and our thinking, we have no idea what our real nature is. When we do this, we lose sight of our core, which is pure awareness and can't change. Because of this, the only way for our bodies and minds to change is through quiet awareness. The change takes place on its own in this silence. Duality is over because the problem has been fixed. When you're in your glory, no one can understand you or needs to understand you. You are here, even in this quiet. To reach a state of silence, the mind must be free of all thoughts and desires. To get to this state, you can't push your feelings and thoughts away. Instead, you have to notice them all without judging, condemning, comparing, or qualifying them. The watcher goes away when attention is paid without any bias. There should be nothing but calm observation of what the mind makes. Find out the truth about the matter. The anger goes away, and the flow of thinking slows down. As they come up, we can watch each thought, its cause, and what it says. We become fully aware of every thought as a whole, and there is no conflict in this full awareness. There is no watcher or watched here. There is only attention and quiet. Your mind is a safety system that makes you either accept or reject something. When the mind isn't there, full attention shows up. Listening and talking can happen on their own, from reality itself, without any brain work. When you pay silent attention, your mind is empty, which lets life come in deeply. It's just a game of words, memory, and intelligence when you're stuck between accepting or rejecting someone. Being quiet, on the other hand, doesn't allow for right or wrong, making up for wrongs, or coming to a decision. They are passed over by natural understanding, whether the person knows them or not. There is no tension when you are listening fully and not thinking about what you are hearing. There is only sight. What is said and what is seen, which come up as answer and reaction, are inside you when you listen silently. When you see things in this way, you pay real attention. There are no problems or rules in it. There is only freedom. The movement that comes from being full is not due to anything else. There is only action. Things are going well for you, and the self is not there. The only goal of meditation is to find the person who is meditating. You will be more and more sure that you can't find it the more you look. You are nothing at your core, but you don't know that because you spend your energy trying to find what you are. When you look inside yourself and find that the thinker doesn't exist, everything you do is pointless. You become open to things you don't know. You can sit and watch how people's ideas change over time. You're there for them, but you don't follow them. The ego stays alive by following a thought. If you stay present without taking part, the anger will go away because it has nothing to feed it. You are moved by the sound of quiet when there is no movement. When the thought of the self comes up, you become self-aware and are filled with tension. Without this thought, there is no speaker, no listener, and no subject in charge of an object. Then there will be total balance and fit for every situation. So, don't try to force your mind. Just watch its different moves like you would watch birds fly. This clear gaze lets all of your experiences come to the surface and become clear. Observing without any bias not only creates a lot of energy, but it also relaxes all the stress from the different layers of inhibitions. Look at the awakened mind that is already inside you. It doesn't have a shape or color, a middle or a tip. First, it doesn't have a beginning. It's empty. Second, it doesn't have a permanent place. It's empty. Finally, it doesn't go anywhere. It's empty. It is clear and easy to understand that this nothingness is not made of anything. You will know who you really are when you see and understand this. You will understand how things work. Then you'll understand what the mind is like, understand the basic state of reality, and get rid of all your questions about many different areas of knowledge. This waking mind of awareness is not made of any matter. It exists on its own and is a part of you. Mind works this way, which is hard to understand because it's not found anywhere. This is how the mind works. It's not made up of a physical viewer and something that it sees and focuses on. It goes against the rules of stability and destruction. It doesn't have anything that can wake you up. This state of awareness is your own consciousness, which is already awake. There is nothing bad in it. Being conscious is naturally good. There is no work to be done in it. It automatically thinks and learns. This is the big picture of the normal state. Recognize that it's only inside you and not anywhere else. This waking mind of awareness is not made up of any physical things. It exists on its own and is part of you. When you understand this idea and use it in your life, every place you go will feel like a haven for your body. Any outward appearance you see will be a naturally appearing appearance, and any nothingness you feel will also be naturally empty. Let it be without any thought creations. If you use looks as your road for practice, these naturally free ones will become your friends. Everything that goes through your mind and what you think has no core. It's not full. When you remember what your mind is really about, your thoughts will easily be freed. Thoughts can be your way, and it will be easy to practice. Take a moment to look at your view. No matter what kind of troubling mood you're feeling, it will go away without a trace. So, the troubling feeling is easily let go of. This is easy to keep up. When you meditate in this way, your training will last longer than just regular lessons. Realizing that everything is there to help you will keep your meditating experience stable. Your behavior will stay the same, and your nature will stay the same. You are always connected to your natural state, no matter where you are. When you understand this, your body may get old, but your mind will stay awake. It doesn't tell the difference between young and old. The natural nature goes beyond preference and tendency. There won't be a difference between strong and weak abilities once you realize that awareness, the natural waking, is already inside you. There will be no difference between extensive and limited learning once you know that your true nature is inside you and is not influenced by your preferences or inclinations. If your body, which supports your mind, falls, the knowledge of awareness will keep coming back to you. It won't matter how long or short your life is once you reach security in this unchangeable state. Everything that goes through your mind and what you think has no core. It's not full. Imagine getting rid of all your fears, opinions, and thoughts that won't stop. Being in this state of emptiness is a way to reach real magic. It is a state of full peace. When we're in this state of existing in nothingness, we find that we have everything we need. Think about the brain overload for a moment. As soon as you wake up, your mind starts to race with ideas for what to do, problems to solve, and things that happened yesterday. It's a tiring loop that often involves thinking about the past and making judgments about ourselves. It's a real emotional storm. Don't think of this nothingness as a cold pit. Instead, see it as an ocean of peace where you can really feel it. This gives us the freedom to take off the clothes we wear every day. This happens when we understand that worrying about other people's opinions no longer matters, letting our true selves show. We learn that being truly ourselves, without any masks, is where the real magic is. One very moving experience is when, while meditating deeply, all worries about the past and future just go away. This state of nothingness gives you insights that you can't get when your mind is full of busy thoughts. It's like the stillness of nothingness makes room for real knowledge to show up. This practice has amazing effects on both your emotions and your mind. It's the moment when we let go of demands and constant criticism of ourselves and just live. It's like taking a weight off your shoulders and letting the joy of life run through you. It doesn't matter how angry a man is if he crosses a river and an empty boat hits his own. He won't be very upset. He will shout at the man in the other boat, though, if he sees him. The first person will shout over and over again, even swearing, until the second person hears him. This is because there is someone in the boat. He wouldn't yell or get mad if the boat was empty. The things we do in society make our lives harder and more confusing, and they make us forget who we are and become obsessed with what we are not. When it comes to our ideas, they change all the time, like the seasons of fall and winter, but we hold on to them like everything depends on them. They slowly go away. As soon as we set up a form for ourselves, we need to remember that we are just waiting for it to wear out. We raise our swords to fight off the problems in the world, or we wear them down as they wear us down, like a horse that rides until it is completely worn out. We can't be stopped. As winter approaches, the danger to our lives stops. We become slaves to an end we can't see, working hard until our hearts are worn out and not knowing where we can go back home. Being alive is the only thing that can make you truly happy, and actions without actions can only make this happen. There is no fight for happiness when you are perfectly happy. You only need to do nothing, and things will change. Soak your mind in the easy things. Let everything happen as it should. Don't worry about what might happen. Just let your mind wander. Keep your balance and accept what's happening. When things are left alone, order comes about on its own. Do not get caught up in events. Do not try to carry the weight of the world. Don't think you already know. Keep in mind everything that is. Let your body be the whole world. Do what it takes to have nothing. Be all the good things that God has given you, just being empty. In the same way that waves are not separate from the water, and sun rays are not separate from the sun, you are not separate from the world. You are the same as everything else. You exist from the beginning, before ideas and works. You are the unknown that events and ideas show up in. You are what's left over after thoughts and events fade away. Get rid of all thoughts, especially the thought of cleanliness, to clean up the mind. After that, the empty mind, which is awareness, shows the real self. Stay still and pay attention to your thoughts. There is no stress or purpose, there is only listening. Inside and outside don't fight with each other. Just take it easy and stay calm. Be still and pay attention to your thoughts. It will want to move around and enjoy memories and joys from the past. Do not hold on to your thoughts. Stay still and don't let your thoughts get in the way. You are that behind the retina and before the breath. You are the void and the heart. Being nothing is what you are, and this is the most important fact. Right now, you are. You are right now. You are the now, whether you are awake, asleep, or thinking. In this moment, everything shows up on a screen. The screen is always still, has never been touched, and is not in time. Give up everything you want, even the desire to be in this moment. Consider yourself to be mind itself. This look of action is the cosmic dance, as long as you don't forget who you are. You will have a very free life if you live in consciousness as consciousness and don't take anything as mine. You'll be freedom itself. If you know that you are the consciousness behind everything and none of the events that show up in it, you will live a very good and happy life. Bad things can happen and good things can happen. While they come and go, you will be at peace because you will know the truth, which is consciousness, and be living in it. You are the place where everything happens. Everything that happens has to happen, so stay as peace, which is not changed by anything. Peace will spread if you are it. If you can understand or feel this emptiness, you will always be happy because you will know that everything you see is just your own image. Then do what you need to do in the world, but don't forget that everything is just a play. If you can live this way without losing who you are, everything you do will be wonderful, and you will never be in pain. Being deeply empty, where it seems like there is nothing left inside, can be a very powerfully changing state. We live our lives constantly dealing with social standards, trying to get things, and wanting to be successful and get noticed. We often look for our identity, purpose, and ways to make a difference, which makes us project an egotistical image onto the world and lose sight of what really counts. But emptiness is not the same thing as not existing or having nothing. Instead, it gives us a view that goes beyond what we can see. It shows that everything is linked and that each part holds the core of the whole universe. Emptiness means that something doesn't have a separate existence, which shows how everything is connected and depends on everything else. We need to let go of the ideas and opinions we have about other people and ourselves. This means being in the present moment without any plans or goals. In this state of emptiness, where we are not limited by society, time, or our minds, we can connect with our real power and presence. Emptiness opens us up to the endless possibilities of the present moment, which never ends. It's possible to connect with the creative and life force energy that is always around us, but that we don't always notice. When we let go of the ego, we connect with a spirit that has always been there. When this happens, our intuition grows. We act in a way that fits with the natural flow of life. Building a character or identity is overdone, even though we all have an idea of who we think we should be. Genuine seeing goes beyond these ideas and recognizes who we really are. When we let go of our minds, they no longer hold us back. Instead, they free us from their restrictions. The mind is still a great way to be creative and express yourself, but it shouldn't be what defines us. Realizing that we don't have an ego or a personality can be scary because it goes against what we think we know. But when we look at this knowledge from the heart, we see that our true selves are not tied to these ideas. When you let go of the worries and stresses that come with it. The idea that we need a well-thought-out plan for every possible outcome in life is not always necessary, despite what we have been told. If we believe in our true selves, we let others help us and let life go as it naturally does. We can't see the world in all its beauty and complexity when our thoughts are full of different concepts and ideas. Thoughts and beliefs that are held against us keep us from fully experiencing life. Our true nature is broad, peaceful, and in line with what is right. It's a deep knowledge of oneself that doesn't need to be explained or justified. There are limits to what words and ideas can say. They are not able to capture the spirit of the world and all of its secrets. Everything starts with emptiness, and it leads to real happiness and peace. Let go of all the ideas we have about other people and ourselves. We free ourselves from the assumptions that we and other people have of us. This lets us go through life without having ideas about what we should or shouldn't do. Giving up everything we know and going into the unknown without a safety net might seem scary, but the truth is that we live in the unknown all the time, whether we know it or not. We are all born with the ability to make our dreams and goals come true, just like a seed can grow into a healthy, fruitful plant. When we are born, we come into the world with no ideas, views, or thoughts about life that we already have. This natural emptiness lets us experience life as it really is, without any ideas or expectations getting in the way. This lets us learn and grow from our experiences. It's important to understand that the mind naturally gets in the way of growth. When you accept who you really are, you face the fears that have been holding you back. These fears must be brought to light and dealt with. In spite of how uncomfortable it may feel at first, it is important to realize that these fears are not new. They have been there the whole time. Putting up with this short-term pain develops a clear place inside you where submission happens easily. To become empty, you don't have to fight all the time. You just have to give up. It means realizing that our true selves are already full. We can get rid of the illusion of the conditioned self when we understand this. It's not an action to become empty. It's a discovery, a taking off of the layers that block our view of the truth. We feel pushback and tiredness when we try to swim against the current in a river. When we trust the stream and let ourselves float, however, we are carried easily and effectively. Similarly, when we accept silence, we're not swimming against life's flow. We're going with it. We often can't just be because we have to do something all the time. Think about having a big bag full of fears, duties and demands. When we stop carrying the world's weight on our back, we can sometimes go through the most powerful changes. Instead of getting lost in your own thoughts, pay attention to them. We are not acting on our thoughts when we are empty. Instead, we are watching them from a distance. When you are a spectator, you can choose to let go of thoughts that aren't good for you. There is a picture in our minds of who we think we are and how we should act, but this game of creating a character or identity is way too important. We don't need these things to see truly. We don't need the crazy and historical being that we've made up in our heads. There is a part of us that sees right through all of that and knows what we're really like. When we let go of our minds, we don't become stupid. Instead, we see that our minds and identities are made-up things that can hold us back. But it's also important to remember that the mind can be a powerful tool for creation and expression. We should know its limits, though, and not let them shape who we are. Realizing that we have no ego, no identity, and our no one can be scary because it makes us question what we think we know about ourselves and our place in the world. It's possible to feel like we're missing who we are and where we're from. When we look at this understanding from the heart, though, we can see that our true self is separate from our ego and identity. It's possible to feel free from the worries and stresses that come with these ideas when we let go of them. Many of us have been told that we need a plan or strategy for every event in our lives. Sometimes, when we believe in the power of silence, our true selves can lead us. We can let go of fear and control and go with the flow of life. It might not make sense to say that letting go of everything we know is the key to happiness in a society that values knowledge and skill above all else. You feel weighed down by the limits of your own mind when you are full of thoughts and ideas. People like you have views and ideas that keep you from seeing the world as it really is, which is both beautiful and complicated. You can see the world as it really is, without any filters or walls, and you can tap into a deep well of intuition and inspiration that is always inside you, but is often hidden by your thoughts. We are truly broad, in tune with each other, and right. We can like this taste of ourselves, and it lets us be open to things our minds can't picture. This makes sense and is right in a way that doesn't need to be explained or justified. Being empty has a lot of power. Thoughts and words could not fully express the spirit of the world and all of its secrets. Emptiness is where everything starts, and the way to true happiness and peace. You can feel a deep sense of peace and connection to everything in the world when you let go of your fears and thoughts. By letting go of your ego and ties, you can connect with the heavenly source and see the universe's final truth and beauty. To develop this nothingness, the first thing you need to do is let go of all the ideas you have about other people and yourself. Allow yourself to be empty, to let go of all the things you and other people expect of you. Let go of any ideas you have about what you should or shouldn't do, and just step up to the challenge. Giving up everything you know and stepping into the unknown without a safety net may seem scary, but the truth is that you are already there, whether you know it or not. Life is always shifting, and the only way to really do well is to be open to these changes and keep your thoughts clear. The mind may find this fact hard to accept, but the heart knows that the stresses and fears that come with the idea of who we think we are go away when we let go of that idea. Don't be afraid of what you don't know, or the clean start that may seem to come with letting go. You will still remember things and feel comfortable with them, but now you can act from your heart instead of your mind. It's no longer necessary for you to act based on who you are. You can now connect to a higher awareness that lets you see past this one. We can experience life in its best form and learn from our mistakes without any preconceived ideas getting in the way. Your mind will always try to stop you. It brings out your secret fear when you say yes to your true self. Your power has been drained by this fear, and it needs to come to the top to be seen. It might be awkward, but it's being brought up, not made. Let go of this short-term fear and let the clear room of being come out. When you recognize yourself, you can give up. You should give your whole life over to seeing, to this adventure and discovery of who you really are. Do not wait, and do not let your mind tell you that now is not the right time. Do not let the limits of your mind lead you. Instead, let the goodness of your heart. Trust that the universe will lead you, and know that you are always where you are supposed to be.